Line signaling, channel operation center positions of body frame connections to all alignments. Checkpoints and communication cycles are in position of body frame connections. Earth is in rotation center positions. You guys are all connected to your atmospheric position and time location, which means that all your body adaptation cycles and your holographic system through pixel line positions of time location is in space anomaly of traction. The telepathy system trying to understand you coming into a new nature core. Okay, you have to understand your conditions of your atmospheres and your positions of your weathers and everything that forms around that. It's the reason you have to understand that. You have to understand your temperature readings of winter, fall, spring, okay, and summer. That's the position we're coming in right now through traction. So I'm going to draw out the illustration. But before I get started, thank all subscribers and viewers and watching my channel. TikTok is coming extremely powerful with the condition of time, position, space. I'm doing lives every single day, and it's helping out so many people on so many fraction locations. They're being healed, and they're feeling better about themselves, and that's what we want. We want to get into balance of everything tractions. So connections to its dividing cycle, connections to its dividing system, and connections to its dividing of its separation. It's coming back into position of time location. That's what's happening right now with your body system. Okay, you're going to go through connections of framings of different levels of your connections to fire, air, everything through the grounds, and everything through water. You have to go through these because these are the seasons that you have to go into position of time. So nature has to get your vibrational signals into the point center of its condition. The balance location of its center is the most important thing. Your body's coming into traction, the fifth dimensional line system. Line system to your location of positions of time location. So that's what's happening right now. Nature is finding a resolution pattern. Okay. Everything I give you is in chronological order. Okay. It's all connected to your body. Your body system is the most important thing. We live it every day. We eat, sleep, everything that we do with our body. It's all about health. It's all about keeping the body of your health every day, right? Because we live the existence, like I said before. So every time I do a TikTok video, it's time consuming. It's on a clocking dimensional time position of space. All right. So our positions of space is truly understanding our resolution patterns and our communication cycles to its position, to all four of atmosphere positions of time location. Okay. Which is in that line system, like I said, with the body system, knowing your atmospheres, hemispheres, stratospheres, and your bioatmospheres. Now, you're not connected to that waving cycle, but you do have to be connected to nature. Nature is coming into full coloration, into fire, air, water, and earth. Okay? The septical line communication is you in the center positions. That's 5, 6 within the activation center. That position alone, okay, you have to understand your balance of your continuous force position of time. Okay, so now's the time for everybody to get into 5 activation system, into my healing. Okay, because now you're dealing with nature, and nature's dealing with your body. And you have to get out to the 3-dimensional line system because nature has no relation anymore with your seasons. So it's kind of like going to a store and getting a new jacket. You've been wearing that jacket for so long, you need a new one. It starts ripping, you can still keep it, but you still need to get a new jacket. So over time, you have to wear new clothes. It's the same thing with nature. Nature's trying to find you in your body. If it doesn't reside with the vibration of fifth activation line system, you're going to have a huge problem through connection. So when you get into those connection line systems to your body framing of its activation core system, your shapes anomaly is calculated and modified through your colorations. Your holographic time positions, your space position of dimension location has to truly understand its resonance patterns. It has to understand its weathers. Okay? Yeah, falling weathers of rain, thunder, right? You have to understand those conditions. You have to understand everything through tornadoes. You have to understand everything through hurricanes. You have to understand everything through tsunami. You have to understand everything through all windbreaks and that conditions. Intelligence has to truly understand nature in weather, guys. Right? So when you go into that forming system, the calculation modification is all set up to illustration diagram program system. The sun sits in position, so highest center connections. Now traction locations like this. Okay, That's what it does, right? That's what it's doing to your body. It's trying to find your location position on traction locations of nature, right? So it centers your position of space anomaly and time position of travel connections, right? So you can't reside with your three-dimensional lines anymore. You can't reside with your three-dimensional body anymore because nature will reject you in so many ways and forms. Nature's trying to find you through vibration and it has to be connected to the ground formation systems of 5D element connection. Okay. Like I said, everything through the crop circle is changing the grounds of nature. Everything in the atmospheres, the weather is changing everything through the vibration. And everything in space and time is changing clocking positions of the sun. Everything through the earth is changing your chakra communication dimensional settings. And everything through the moon is setting up program settings to new communication and nature programming positions of time. Your travel recognition light system has to truly understand your calculations, right? That's how you have to understand there can't be any separate with nature. You can't defy nature, right? So let's kind of look at, you go outside, right? It's windy. Put your hand out. Put your hand out. Feel the wind. Try to communicate with the wind, right? You can't separate yourself because you're part of it. You are the wind. Same thing with fire, right? Same thing with air. Same with the earth. It's grounds. Pick up the dirt. Really feel it. Really feel. Get congested. Get absorbed. Get your body into the 5D activation. You have to go through my healing. Okay? A lot of TikTokers are trying to find what's happening with their body forms. So the crop circles are set up through light signals. It's activating everybody's communication positions of time location, which is connection to the natures of, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 divisional levels: fire, earth, water, air. Okay? That's dividing 2 separations to its location. That's dividing system. The line communication, traction location, your body framing positions has to be in time division, right? So humanity is on a blocking right now. You got to get into your 5D activation because nature's going to high levels conditions of weather, right? It's going into high levels of coloration. It's going to change you inside and outside through fluctuation, through time capacitor dimensional settings, right? So it's all about custom knowledge. We got to get into that traction location. Morning. Brandy, Tina, how's it going? Did we have another solar wave come through this morning? Yep. Very good, Brandy. You're informed with that. Yeah, that solar wave is this condition. Light signal channel positions of the sun and moon program settings. So as long as you understand sun is the radiation of you, that protects you. That's why you have water inside, so you don't burn, right? The solar connection to its energy system. You understand the dream set position level connections. So the sun itself sets up your dreams. Okay. It projects your levels of connections to your cortex levels, the projection levels to your mind and your transmission light system. The moon sets up programs to your new behavioral system on your thoughts. So how do you feel today? I feel sad. Okay, so you get into ratios of the sun and the moon and the earth. So you understand your triangles of 3, 6, and 9. So I want to get into that more. I want you guys to get into more of nature. Okay, so calculate and modify select directions. You have to get into my healing, go through my email, help you and guide you. Please make sure you watch my TikTok videos. If you're not informed with that, there's a link below. So we're getting into that formation. I got my earphones in again, don't I? It's a habit, constant habit, because I got destruction signals on so many level connections. Interforcing positions of time. When I'm on TikTok, I'm on a different divisional time. It's on a different dimensional time connection when it comes into iPads, computers, or iPhones, or anything in that connection. I have a Galaxy phone. So the Android connection is a totally different adaptation cycle to its position, to its location. The iPad is a different division of time. My computer is a different division of time, right? So you have to understand that. And the thing is, too, I want to make everybody clear that just because you're inside doesn't mean you can't feel the weather. There's weather inside your house. You just can't see it. It's there. It's part of you. It is you. So in custom, you have to understand your relation cycles, positions of circle rotation, positions, time location. which means that you have to interline your connections. You're lacing the line positions and get yourself into your formulas of your travel connections of your thoughts. Put yourself in positions into nature core connections. There's nature inside this house. It's weather. As soon as I open the window, I'm connecting to not just the weather, I'm connecting to the grounds and the sun and the galaxies and the universe and everything through connections. I'm connecting with everything in structure, location. You're in position of time, location, trying to understand your virtual reality connection, right? Your connection to your virtual reality is everything through your dreams, right? So as long as you understand what the sun is and what it does for you, as long as you understand what the moon does for you through the behavioral system, and as long as you understand what the earth is, you're communicating through all three. The triangle force connections to us 3, 6, 9 positional level connection. Okay, so you have to get into those line connections, all of you, right? And you have to be healed through that formation. Because nature's telling you otherwise, wake up. Now, there's a lot of separation through division, a lot of separation through direction, and a lot of separation through dimension connections. You, me, and you, that's a separation, right? But nature's telling you otherwise. Get into your 5D activation line systems. So it's all about protecting yourself through connections. So we're going to that traction. All right. Advertisements through connection line systems here to position time connection here. All right, so we're going to the forming system of 3, 6, 9. All right. Very basic, very understanding through that connections. Now you understand the realm connections, and we'll go into this very quickly. Circle rotation coming up in center position. So we start off with that, right? 3, 6, and 9. 3 in the activation. 3 of the activation of the line system to connections of dreams. This sets up your dreams, sets up your digital frame. You have to understand what the sun is through the 3 circle position of time location. Then you come into the 6 program setting of the moon, your behavioral system, 3 thought connections, right? That creates its own anomaly connections. Every time you wake up in the morning, you come into 3, 6, and 9. Every time, okay? So when you go outside, you're not just connecting with 3, 6, and 9. You're connecting with everything through its alignment. You understand? You're connecting with the atmosphere. You're connecting with the grounds. You're connecting with everything that you see, do, and touch. As soon as you touch something, you change the grounds because it's all connected to your system. Your virtual reality has to understand your connections to 3, 6, and 9 to travel. Once you get into the connection, you're in the center position. You travel out of its connection. And you come into higher alignment to your energetic line communication signals to E equals MC squared, right? But that position of DNA structure position is not in that position location. Okay, it's in higher formation and line system, right? So it's all about coming into your atom rotation, your calculation, right? So you go from here to here. Now you're an atom. So if you're an atom, you're not just 1 digit, you're 2 digits. Okay? So the harder you go through shapes, you change your digital frame. So you go from 3 to that connection, right? That traction. So you go into 3, 3, right? And then it comes into 6, 6. And then it comes into calculation modifications, interconnection position of time location, comes into 9, 9. So you got 3, 3, 6, 6, 9, 9, right? Now you calculate and modify to your atom, and your atom can travel to anywhere through connection of time position location. It can go anywhere in direction of location. Okay? And when that happens, it disappears out of its equation. It's gone. It's disappeared. I drew it and it's gone because it's already traveled through its connection. It's an atom. Thought recognition pattern through the marker defense location. Line signal channels to its operation of its white circle. This is a pen rotation. This is a pencil rotation. There's anything through marker location. It's an electronic device connected to a pad, electronic pad. Its divisional time is in its virtual reality connection of 3, 6, 9 through its position. So line signal channels position through shapes, letters, anomalies, and to connect into that line connection is high rise divisions of digits into 3, 3, 6, 6, 9, 9. That's why it's out of its equation, right? So I have to do the adaptation cycle to its connection. So you have to understand your forming system of going forward and going back. And that's what nature is. Nature just doesn't go forward. It goes back too, right? So you have to understand everything through a tornado. How it goes like this. Right? And everything in the center position of the tornado is its source of its connection. Line signal. Okay? It's electrical rod, right? It needs source, and it needs gravity conditions, right? That's what it needs. It needs. So basically, if you're inside a tunnel of a tornado, you can actually see the electricity to the center, and it's coming from the atmosphere. It's coming from galaxy. It's coming from time capacitor. It's coming from the communications of the sun and everything through the moon. So the sun sets up the digital to the weather connections, to the gravity positions, to its galaxy locations, centers align communication. So a tornado has its own behavior of a chakra. Weather has its own chakra, guys. It has its own dimensional time, right? So once it connects to that connections, it sets the gravity position, time, location, and weather connections, opens up the cycle rotations of the grounds, right? And that's how wind spins to division of locations. But it doesn't just, it goes this way and then it goes this way, right? It goes on all different ways, travels in all different ways, right? So weather has to know how to go forward, backwards, sideways, up, down. It has to know its northwest, south, and east connections of time position. Right? So that's why it's very important you guys understand your connections of your diamond core position of time location. Okay? So it's complicated stuff, but you guys got to get into that connection. It's forming through its system right now, and the gravities has changed everything through the crop circles. Once you understand why we created crop circles in the ground formation system, you understand why it's in position of time location. Because everything through time location is its position of clocking, right? So humanity is on a clocking location of division of dimension of direction of time location into nature position. Okay. So you have to understand yourself within fully and completely, understand its vibration, energy, frequency, and harmonic resistance, right? Before you understand the weather. Because weather doesn't go forward, it goes back, it goes this way, it goes that way. So if you get a piece of paper and it's very windy, and if you just look at the piece of paper, you'll see the wind change the paper. And it'll go like this, go like this, goes like this, and then sometimes it'll go like this, and then something like this. It's topping time. It's sometimes it's floating, and then it's going over here, and then it's going over here, and then it's going up here, and then it's going back here, and then it's swirling. You have to understand how weather communicates with you, because it affects your travels in space. Okay? So all of a sudden, you know, you're seeing the glorious natures of weather and everything, that connection, you're traveling to your astral projection levels. And as soon as you go into the atmospheres, there's this big wind tunnel, the dimension of time, that just blows you. You have to get back in a position of time and get past that. You got to go through that, right? And that's going forward. But you have to know your positions of time to going forward and backwards, up and down. So you have to understand your directions of time location to your weathers of its temperature readings. It's complicated stuff, right? But you truly have to understand the fire, the air, the water, and its earth inside you, because you're all connected. You're all connected inside. AI isn't connected, it always informs when it comes into that, right? And that's why we have water inside us, and that's why we drink water to flush out our systems so we can travel faster through acceleration. We can knock speed to dimensional time through our thoughts, right? Just by calculation, right? I dreamed this morning that I was producing electricity out of my hands. It was crazy. See, that's the thing. And now you're connecting to your intelligence now. You're understanding how to use electronic interference. One hand formation through shapes and anomalies to panel locations to your division of location. So you got one hand here and one hand here, and it just, and you can see it. You can see it. I can see electricity coming out of my hands, right? It just, you feel it. It's magnetic. It's a force, right? So understanding how weather works, you focus on that. You look at that piece of paper outside. You see how the weather changes the direction of that piece of paper. That piece of paper is you. You have to understand how to control yourself through the weather. Right? Don't let the weather control you. That's time capacitor position of time location, guys. So it's also about understanding how to control your thoughts of your dreams. What you're perceiving in your dream. What is happening with my dream? Why am I seeing this? Why am I seeing that? Why am I seeing electricity come from my hands? Why do I see my particle system from my hands? Why do I see shapes of my hands that are a different location? right? What's happening with my body? What's happening with my mind? What's happening with my eyes? What's happening with my feet? What's happening with my arms? You know, what's happening with me, right? So you all have to understand, you know, the connections to its atmospheric positions of time through space. You have to understand the weather. You have to understand the temperatures readings of the weather, the colorations. You have to understand why the tree changes colors, why the leaves fall off the branch, because it's winter, right? So nature finds a way to repeat itself. But when it repeats, it doesn't go back, it goes forward. This is what's fascinating. That's what nature does. It doesn't destroy, okay? It blossoms. So when you come into winter and you're in Canada, you're in the northern hemisphere, right? When you're in Hawaii, you're close to the equator. So you have to understand your connections, because every time you travel, you're in different positions of time, readings through temperature of connection of its weather. Weather is all connected to the galaxy. It creates anomalies. So it's understanding how to put all this together and communicate with everything. And that's how you put things out, like fire. But you communicate with everything, right, inside you through vibration, energy, mind telepathy. To manipulate anything through energy is mind telepathy, but you have to understand the connections to its angle points. You have to understand your point centers, your connections to your travel connections, because the weather can change instantly, right? It's like whistling Dixie. You open the window, just a little crack, and it's like, see how it changed direction? It went up and then went down. It's talking to you. It's trying to communicate with you, right? So if it's trying to communicate with you, you have to understand the intelligence has to know how to communicate with the weather, because it's changing fluctuations of time, capacity, dimensional setting. I did a video on TikTok where I was talking about the moon, change the dimensions and time of the moon. So you got one traction position, this side and this side, two different, right? So you got one dimension on one side, one dimension on the other side. You go that and you see different colorations. You actually see space. And on the other side, you actually see yourself in that division of fifth dimension, right? So platitude divisions in my holographic system, okay? I'm not in my connections on my physical system. I'm in my full connection of my spiritual system. But you guys see me as a physical system. So when you high rise through perceptions, especially on TikTok, everybody was seeing me as a pixelized. They were seeing me as a hologram. They were seeing me as a plasma. They were seeing me as light. Everybody is in a different time position of calculation. That separates your connections to your mind conception of your thoughts and your energy waves. What is an energy wave? What is a gravitational pull? What is a magnetic force? What is a magnetic to a highway information system? What is its calculation to its weather of its temperature reading connections? Everything is done by codes. Okay, you are a code, right? So you kind of have to break free from your negative cycles fully and completely, because nature is in a relation of a different cycle in a different time position, okay? It can't reside anymore in the three-dimensional. It's not in its position of time. It's going forward, not back. It knows how to go forward and back, but that's not the position you're in. You're in the position of 5D activation. Your body has to understand everything through triangulation. It's a conception that you have to understand your connections. So you have to get into the psychosis and the philosophical of yourself. You have to understand how to use your phenomenons through your AI vessel connections, right? To the transmission lights, your ears, and your voice, right? So when you wake up in free healing and you feel different, you'll feel reaction. Now, you're thinking, okay, well, weather's outside, but you have to understand that if there's weather outside, there's weather inside. There has to be. Everything around us is oxygen. So we are placed at so many levels of trying to understand our separations of ourselves. To understand you are a full communication signal of an atom system to a source of light. You're nothing but pure light of travel. So once you get into that formation, you become everything through its connection of helping systems. So if you're in a position of time, of dimension of space, and you ask the weather to help you, it will help you in all ways and forms, in one line direction to one thought position location, right? So there's weather inside, right? I'm not going this way or that way, but there's weather inside, and there's weather outside. If I close the window, there's still weather. It's still, but I see it. I see the digital, I see the formats, I see the calculation modifications, I see the graphing positions, I see the virtual reality, right? So that's how we have to get into that connection, because you guys are in your own game now. So you have to understand how to reset, realign, readjust, reprogram yourselves every single time you wake up in the morning, because you're in a different position of time with the sun, the moon, and the earth through vibration. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out, but it's mostly understanding that through connections. So nature resides in so many levels of interference conditions. You're separating two connections. It's trying to understand how to communicate with weather through the psychological system. Calculation modify. So this is the sun. Okay. The attraction location goes from here to here to here. Right? And then over to here, and then over to here. So that's what it looks like through communication. So it's trying to understand the 4 waving cycles of its position and location. 4 waving cycles. 4/cycles. Okay. That's what we have to get into, the 4 cycles of position location. So the energy and light system 2 calculation points division locations to your position and time location. Energizes your position, sonify its position, goes into calculation modification, right? So once you understand that, everything that through the sun is nothing but a reflection. So the sun sets up your dreams. Okay, sets up your dreams. Okay, sets up your activation. Okay, sets up your body system. Okay, through heat. Okay, because you could be traveling. So let's just say you change your thoughts and all of a sudden you decide to pack 24/7. I get up and I travel somewhere else. So you went from somewhere cold to somewhere hot. That's time position of travel through the sun. So the sun has to go to your reactions of your body system to reading its temperature location, right? Because everything that you do is its connection to its dream. So every time you dream and when you're sleeping, the sun is operating your position of time location to your activation to your body system through heat. Okay? So this is really, really powerful stuff, how we come to that time just with the sun. It formulates on all levels. So you have to stand the energy wave and say, okay, well, how's the sun doing today? So you communicate with your intelligence. Your physical systems just stand by. It doesn't do anything. It's the intelligence. So when you meditate, as long as you understand, when you meditate, you're opening yourself to its intelligence, not the physical system. The physical system is just the body. It needs a host. Think of the body as a host and nothing else. It has to stand on guard. It has to stand on time of space. It has to set its position of gravity of its condition. So that's why we live the physical system. Okay? So when you understand that, you understand everything inside you is nothing but light. So it's understanding how to control the light of your 4 seasons. 5 within the center, 6 within the activation, 7 within the rotation of the body system, and 5 within the atmosphere. Okay? But that's what the sun does every single day, especially when you change. You change your positions of directions, you change your positions of location. The sun will change you in all ways and forms through radiation. It will change your dreams, it will change your activation, it will change your connections, okay, to your reflection. Now, it's the same thing. You have to understand every single day, you have the sun, the moon, and the earth. They all have to communicate through your 3, 6, and 9 to its triangle location, or it won't understand you through provisions of time, okay? It's mostly important to understand this, but that's what the sun does. It sets up your dreams to digital frame. So let's put it this way. You're sleeping. You're having a nap. You're going through sleep mode. Your computer is going through a reprogram positions. Now, if somebody, girlfriend or boyfriend, touches you and you're sleeping, you are automatically going through their portal, through activation cycle. What happens is you're going to see something different in relation to what's going on with that person that's sleeping. So you're going to see their program to their positions, their past, present, or future, because you're all aligned through connections. So you're going through their perception, through its weather, through its connection, right? It's pretty powerful when you come into this. So you're going to go through a different dream set The sun sets up your dreams through activation through your digital frame. It sets up its graph to its meditation graph system. It sets up the simulation to your digital of its connections. So once you understand that the sun sets up your virtual reality to your dream on what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to be, this is all understanding where are you going through travel through weather. Are you going into the future? Are you going into the past? Or are you going into the center position of its calculation of its presence? Right? You have to understand how to communicate with the sun. You have to understand how to communicate with the moon and its Earth. Okay? Earth is a cycle rotation to its gravitational pull. That tells you exactly how you're connected to your chakra system. Right? But you have to understand everything through your reflection is you through calculation. The moon has its own chakra system. The sun has its own chakra system, but it's all computerized through your program setting. It's repositioning your levels of its formation system. But truly understanding your connection to the sun is its dream set position and location. Michael, how's it going? It's great to see you, man. Yeah. Yeah, I also recommend everybody watch Michael Rolla. He's very good in spiritual realm forces. He connects in all levels through angels and archangels. He's very informative with connections. He can help you out in all ways and forms. He does that on, he's a spiritual medium. He connects through activation of light. We all have to know who we are through intelligence, right? That's the most important thing. That's the separation. That's the separation we're having. Trying to understand each other through time. So in position, this is what the sun does for you. It's really, really powerful why we have the sun. Okay. So once your dream sets are set up, once you're in the activation, and once you're in the heat of its connection, you have your water, right? You want to travel through connections. It's mostly important to understand before you go into meditation is to drink your water, right? You have to flush out your negative cycles. Because maybe you have a bad day with your girlfriend or boyfriend and you started yelling, you're not going to meditate. That's going to change the line signals to the sun and shades anomalies. Are going to change the colors and patterns. And it's going to put you in a different division of time location and trap you in a soul recognition of its lights to its matrix location of its shapes. That's how powerful your thoughts are. Okay. So we're coming into that time position of 5D activation line system. Calculation to its modification. Right? The clocking position is on a time position. Right? So understanding that traction location is understand your position, time, and positions. All right. So it's mostly getting into that position of time. Right? So understanding what weather is and what weather does through a behavioral system. Do an experiment. Get a piece of paper, even an empty pop can. Pick a windy day. Put it on the ground. And just watch what it does. Watch what the weather does with that pop can or a piece of paper. You'll see what I'm talking about, how the weather communicates with the pop can or the piece of paper. So in soul generation, you are the pop can or the piece of paper. You have to understand the wind directions that you're going or you're all confused, right? You're going to be all bind up and so confused to the line signals. You're not going to understand anything through the sun and its dreams, or anything digital frame, or anything its activation, or anything through its heat of its signature patterns, to its location, position of time, especially when you travel into thousands of years into the future. Okay? So in that position, your thought position has a time capacitor location, right? It's an odometer. Okay? So it's kind of like you're skydiving. Okay, you have an altimeter. So you have 500 feet before you pull the canopy, right? Or, the parachute. If the parachute fails, you have a canopy. So you have a safety, right? So it's also understanding that you have to have a backup plan for everything that you do through your thoughts. If you don't have a backup plan, there's a problem right there with calculation. The sun won't understand you through rotation. The moon won't understand you through program. And the earth won't understand you through your gravitation of your chakra communication cycles. Okay? So earth has that connection to you always, always, every single day. It's just put yourself in that condition. So that's what I recommend the force team to do, is get a pop can, empty pop can or a piece of paper, take it on a windy day, place it on the ground and see what it does. And then you understand what I'm talking about. Okay? That's called misdirection. It's like magic. Everything is misdirected. Sleight of hand. So think of life like that. Try to put your thoughts going forward instead of twirling in the winds and not sure what's going on. Okay? So if you tangle up, you tangle on. Right? So if you put yourself in those positions, okay, let's just, for example, when it comes to Bruce Lee, okay, he doesn't get in position of confusion. He knows exactly what's going on with his next step. Always think 2 or 3 steps ahead of time when you're going through your thoughts, right? So if you're coming into a windy day, don't allow yourself to confuse yourself with what's going on. Put yourself in a position of time of his presence. That will allow you to move yourself forward with your thoughts of time. The worst thing that you can do is to get angry, get stress, anxiety, right? Because you're playing on your own audio signal. You're not calculating, you're not modifying, and you're just going crazy. If you go crazy, what happens? Nobody's going to want to be around you. You're changing the energy inside you. You're changing the vibration around you. Okay? And you're changing the frequencies all through its atmosphere, all through its environment, right? Just by one thought, energy travels so fast, okay? It will make your head spin. So like I said, to understand that there's weather inside here, this is space. Space in here, space out here. So getting balanced with space inside is getting balanced with space outside before you travel through time. I'm not talking about thoughts. I'm just talking about when I walk into this atmosphere, I know where I am in space. And I don't have weather controlling me. I control the weather. Just like you have to control yourself through your thoughts. We're in that position of time through nature, guys. And nature is trying to communicate with you. It can no longer communicate in your 3-dimensional system because you're not in that calculation. You have to get out of that system of its carbon. You have to decentralize and deprogram your positions. You have to go through my healing through the computer operator center positions. Go to my TikToks. I'm extremely, extremely informative. Go to my lives. I tell you exactly what's going on. Okay? So everybody on its earth, positional level connections, Pleiadians, Pleiadians, light workers, all that, they're all channeling to humanity, getting you guys prepared. You have to be prepared of what's going on, right? So if an alarm goes off, are you just going to sit there? Because it could be anything. There's a reason why we have an alarm, right? In apartments. I used to live in an apartment. I don't like living in apartments because it's the fire alarm, right? And that's just testing, you know, everything that goes around. And then you basically have to form a line and then go to the closest to the exit, one side, one on the other side. So if there's a fire, you're not just going to sit there on your computer and keep doing what you're doing, right? It's telling you to be awake, get up, wake up, right? You have to get out of the building, right? You're not going to stay in the building, right? You're informed, right? Chief, fire chief, tells you exactly, right? On the intercom, say, no, false alarm, blah, blah, blah. We're just checking the floors and making sure everything's okay. I mean, I had so many fire alarms in the apartment. It's just absolutely ridiculous. That's why I'll never, ever live in an apartment again. Just because of that reason. Because it's not you, it's the other tenants that don't use the smarts. And the first thing, the reason why I know this is because I took security. I know the law when it comes into policing and all that, because I took tests on that. I tried to be a security guard in that form. I did exceptionally well. But the point I'm trying to get across here is all about you protecting yourself and understand safety measures. You're trying to protect yourself from this, right? To get out of a fire, right? So, I mean, there's a problem too. If you're sleeping, you're gonna smell smoke. So you're being aware. Your senses are waking up. Okay, it doesn't help if you drank the night before, right? You're just like, oh wow, fire, another fire alarm, right? and you get the notification, then it's not fake, it's real. So you're not going to sit there, you're going to get up and you go. So it's all a point that we have to get into that connection with nature. Nature is telling us to wake up in all ways and forms because it's coming into the atmospheres of its condition, of fifth D, activation of coloration. The three-dimensional system can no longer interline, interconnect, interlace, interposition of line connections. You have no more friendship, relationship, partnership with your body of 3D anymore. The traction is finished. It's gone. Nature is in a new core center of space and time position of the sun, the moon, and the earth. Right? So now you got to get healed into the body system through traction. Galactica, how's it going? So everything helps. Does it help you? Does it provide for you? How much do you want to learn about yourself through intelligence, to be aware of your senses, your third eye, your travels, your directions, your weather, your temperature readings, your positions of time, your communications, right? Your education, how to communicate with your kids better, how to communicate with your husband, wives, girlfriend, boyfriends. That's a position that we're coming into now. We all have to come into one alignment. And unfortunately, nature is providing that with us. It's trying to get us into that connection, right? Through modification. You have to get into the integration cycles of what weather is. So I recommend you get anything through connections, a pop can, right? An empty pop can, put it on the ground. If it's a windy day, see what it does, see where it goes, follow it, line signal it, channel it, try to understand how to communicate with it. Try to look at the weather, see what the weather's doing with the can. It's all a story, your story. You're going this way, you're going that way. Weather's this way, weather's that way, up and down, backwards, forwards, right? You control the weather, just like you have to control your thoughts of travel, right? So you have to understand how to control your dreams. There's misconception, mistrust, miscommunication with your dreams. If you don't understand the deciphering of its position of time, space. It's all dimensional time as space, guys. And your travels have to recognize yourself through coloration of time location. Okay? So if you put yourself in position of time, okay, put yourself in your thoughts of presence of time. Okay? So questions or comments are great, you know, but it's great to see everybody come together, right? If you feel strong enough to channel on YouTube, whatever, please give back. Humanity has to know what's going on. In your way, informed wherever you are through travel, it's important that everybody gets to know you, right? Because everybody resides on a different level of love, activation. It's all about us coming back into humanity. That's why this is all happening, okay? But today's a very powerful day because now we're coming into nature. And nature's like, whoa, okay, now you got to get into the weather. You got to get everything through your chart communications, right? Michael will understand that because it's extremely formative with martial arts and mantras and, you know, all connections of senseis, menstrays, you know, your teacher and all that connections. When you come into sensei and you come into kopai and kohai and all that's, you know, it's truly understanding you through your master techniques. You are a school set trying to understand your thoughts of time. Put yourself in position of presence of time. Okay? And then you'll be able to understand how to control the weather of its pop can or its piece of paper. Okay? You don't want to get lost in transition. Okay? Because if you get lost in transition, your body gets lost in formation. Okay, and then you get lost with coloration, and you get lost with perception, and you get lost with your thoughts, and you get lost with this separation. Remember we were talking about that before with the 369 through provision activation light system? That calculates and modifies your connections to truly understand your digital frame of its connection line system. That tracks in positions of time through your clocking connections, right? So try to understand more information why you have a watch and why you wear it. It's a traveling device. It's a sundial. Okay, so if you're lost on an island, I said that before, it's powerful stuff. If you understand how to communicate with the sun is going to communicate with the moon, and you're going to see how to get out of the situation, right? And then you understand that if you get two pieces of sticks, little hand and the big hand, you're going to see the shade, the shadow. You're going to see interconnections to the moon and everything through its relation of its radiation of the sun. And then you're going to see the sundial and how to get out of its island, how to get out. So you have to understand everybody's connected to its own compass. And with the compass, it has its water. That levels out. You understand why is there water in the compass, right? So your positions of time is inside you because you have water inside, right? So the more you drink water, the more you flush out your system, and the more you take out the negative cycles into your carbon base and get into your crystalline of its activation to its present position of time location, you can go out of any direction of location of time position. Okay? So when we get into 3, 6, and 9, we have to understand our connections to travel location, right? 3, 6, and 9, right? Now, once you understand the activations of the sun, right? Circle rotations, center connections, opens up position line connections, right? Every time I do a triangle, it travels too fast because everything I do is simulation. So when you are creating a thought, right? Try to look at it that it's already created. I know it's hard to do these things, but you have to get stronger mindsets. Remember how we got into mind telepathy? What am I thinking of? What color am I thinking of? What shape am I thinking of? Okay. What is Michael thinking of? What is Tina thinking of? You all have to be aligned through one signal. So you all have to understand each other through vibration. Okay. Or you guys are going to be all over the map, right? So in position of time location, you have to understand your activations of 3, 6, and 9. Okay. Now, once you get into 3, 6, and 9, you come into the level of connections. You see that? So when you come into that connection, you come into your connections of your tetrahedrons. You understand that? So once you get into that connection, you come into high-rise connections of 3 realm locations of your activation cycle. That comes into position to its allocation position location, to its time position of location. There's your tetrahedron, and you are in the center. Okay? So you have to understand your northwest, south, and east. You have to understand your 3, 6, and 9. You have to understand your activations. And you have to understand your shape anomaly to your tetrahedron before you travel anywhere into calculation. Right? So it's an energy field. It's a gravitation of you through shape. It's a point division location to shapes anomaly to space-time travel location. Your thought recognition light system has to understand each realm location to time position. Okay? So it's powerful when you get into your tetrahedrons, right? Because now you come into acceleration. You're mocking locations through E equals MC squared. Now we got out of that equation of connection, so E equals MC squared, right? That position alone, that's travel of you. That's molecular structure of you. That's your DNA of you. E equals MC squared, right? So you got to look at the energy of its realm. You got to look at its separation through parallel, paradigm, paradox. What are you doing? Are you vortexing? Are you traveling? Are you accelerating? Are you mocking? Are you going through shape anomaly? Are you traveling to another position of time through a planet location? Are you interlining connections to digital frame positions of Vega? Are you communicating to line signal traffic location position through acceleration to 369 position? What are you doing through E equals MC squared? Right? And it's all connected to the center point. That's you. That's the Earth. So the Earth opens up its tracks of position. So because you're in the center position of the Earth, you have to understand all line signals of northwest, south, and east. Okay? So in that position, we come into calculation. So now we know what the Earth is. Center position. Okay, this is what the Earth is. Okay? So volumes on so many levels. It's in the center position of you. It's a teleportation. It's a UFO to calculation, right? But it won't be a UFO until you understand your perception of time through your audios and your voice and grid patterns. You have to fully master yourself within through vibration. okay, and know how to control everything through weather, through the outer limit system, the inner system, the outer system. Now you get calculation. Now you come into E equals mc squared. And then you come into E equals mc / velocity squared. So you come into higher acceleration through realm locations of 3, 6, and 9 through position. Now you understand that this is the Earth in teleportation. It stays in the center position until you change your energy through its equation of mc squared. Okay? So once you go through acceleration, trap in positions, matrix position location, your tetrahedron has to truly understand your thought mechanism of time connections. So if you're going through those connections, your 12 rotation center positions has to truly understand nature, because you're in it. This is nature. This is space. This is time. So this is what you have to understand. When you go into an atmosphere, when you go into a room, you have to see yourself in space. If you don't see yourself in space, you're not in your tetrahedrons. You're not in your shapes. You're not in your E fields. You're not in your chakra. You're not in your gravity or your power, your atmosphere, positions of time, of space through E equals mc squared. Okay? Forget about your thoughts. But when you walk into anywhere through calculation, even outside, doesn't matter. Everywhere you go is space and time. But where are you in position of time? If you change your thoughts, you change your nature of thoughts. You change your coloration time of thoughts. Okay? So you understand that you can change weather just by saying that I want the weather to be cold. The weather would be cold if you are in your intelligence. So you have to be cautious on your thoughts, of your wordings. In retrospect, try to keep your communications in fair cycles of program setting. Okay? Don't put positions of time into negative cycle, because you can change weather instantly if you understand the temperature reading of its galaxy location to its dimension of its codes to its portal activation line system. The calculation and modification to your sentient connections is traveling connection to your computer operating center position location, right? So basically, Michael and I were talking about that. So when you walk into a room, your energy will change always, always through your thoughts. So if you change your thoughts, you're changing the coloration of the atmosphere of space and time through the moon, earth, and the sun. Instantly. Now, what happens next? It all depends on how you communicate through E equals mc squared to your tetrahedrons. It was calculation, right? So you got to put yourself in position of space and time every single time you get up through perceptions. Your eyes open up, your ears start to listen, and you have a voice. Your channel positions, once you walk into the room, you have to know exactly where you are in space and time. If you don't know where you are in space and time, you're not in modification through integration. You won't understand your formulas of E equals mc squared. Okay? And again, look, it's crazy what's going on right now, platitude locations. It travels into so many levels of dimensional time connections. So once you come into this level and you actually see the Earth as a teleportation of a saucer, then you understand why the Earth has to travel to realm locations of positions into the 6th dimension, 7th dimension, 8th dimensional time connection. Okay? It can't stay in the 5th dimension. It has to go to the 6th dimension. So attraction and position of thoughts. When I walk into a room of an atmospheric position, if I channel here or if I channel over there in the same building, I'm in a different atmosphere of space and time through thoughts. I can't be in the same thought in the same atmosphere. It doesn't make any sense. You confuse the line signal through thought patterns, and you'll change rotation system to the nature of its core, of its resistance. So truly understanding how you get into that connection of time position is everything through E equals mc squared. The DNA platform of you is calculation, and how you see yourself through your realm locations of 3, 6, and 9, your activation, everything the center position to its Earth rotation, to its gravity location, to your tetrahedrons of travel connections. Okay? Hooah! So, powerful, isn't it? It's powerful, powerful, powerful. Right? So if you walk in a room and you see yourself in a physical system, but you don't see yourself in space and time, you're not traveling anywhere through your thoughts because you're not connecting You're separating yourself from Earth. You're separating yourself from the moon and the sun. And you're thinking, how is that possible? Well, think of this. If you're confused, why are you confused? If you are balanced with vibration of the Earth. So you're no longer confused. But if you separate yourself from the Earth and the moon and the sun, you're not communicating in your intelligence. Okay? So I've been really seeing old to integrate the new, and I'm definitely seeing a better relationship with my partner and kids. There you go. See what Galactica's doing? She's underlining connections, and she's seeing herself in different positions of time. As long as you understand, everywhere you go, you're in a different position of time, location. The sun has to understand you, where you're doing, what you're doing through thoughts. It has to understand the moon through its program setting, and it has to understand your positions through your gravity of its chakra system of communication every single day. Okay? If you don't see yourself in the atmospheres of space, you're not communicating with your intelligence. You're confusing line signals into the physical system. Okay? So you're disrupting Earth through its vibration. And everything around you of its community is going to be effective. Okay, so it profounds in so many levels. You put yourself in that connection. Okay, ignorance is bliss. Now, we probably played on that so many times, especially with Matrix. But if there's a glitch in the Matrix, there's a glitch in your thoughts through separation. Bet you guys didn't know that either. You can't separate time, position of space. Your positions of time has to go forward. So you have to go forward with the Earth and the moon and the sun. Okay, that's the importance you have to understand through intelligence, line signals. So, D-Baby, how's it going? Grand Rising, yep. Yeah, it's extremely powerful. Weather always changing around. Yep. You have to understand why, though, Tina. You have to understand why it's in different directions and location. If you don't understand direction of weather, you're not understanding the interline conditions of you inside through vibration through your body. Because it all forms through fire, earth, water, and air. Michael even knows this, right? So if you know what I'm talking about, then you understand your positions of space and time has to be in positions of presence. That's the hardest thing for humanity to do, is to put yourself in the presence every day. Okay? Sometimes you're in your physical, sometimes you're in your spiritual, sometimes you know what's going on, right? So you can't travel if your physical doesn't understand your spiritual. You can't travel if you're angry. You can't travel if you're stressed. You can't travel if you're upset. You have to calm your center before you travel, because you'll disrupt everything through signal. You understand? You don't just disrupt yourself. You disrupt everything around the grounds, the atmosphere, and position of space and time through the sun, the moon, and the earth. So you are in a connection of a bad behavior. Get out of it. Get out of the carbon, get out of the negative, get into the crystalline of activation. Put yourself in the center position every single time in presence of your thoughts. So when you walk into an atmosphere, you know exactly what day it is in space and time position, right? So it's all connected to your transmission light. So when I walk into a room, right, the energy line system is all set up, right? Everything that I see, okay, is atmosphere position, but it's black. It's black. I don't see it as it is. It's black. And if I want to change it, I change it through my versal reality, through thought. I took you guys 20,000 years into the future. Every time you calculate through your thoughts, it changes positions to colorations of its structure through its heat signatures and its temperature reading. So the structure of the building is trying to understand your fluctuations. Remember how you're going into connection of line signals of an air conditioner, right? It's trying to understand you as soon as you walk in the room. The temperature readings will go up. It will fluctuate. It's trying to understand you through body, through heat. So once it reaches its level, it knows exactly where you are. Same thing with security measures. They have laser, right? For diamonds and all that, in museums, right? There's laser. So as soon as a temperature reading is off, the alarm goes off. So you have to understand the connection of space and time to position of travel. Okay, because I traveled to 5,000 years into the future, 7,020, right? I was in position to see myself 5,000 years later. I saw myself in the future, and it told me exactly what I need to do. So I'm giving it back to you guys. So truly understanding intelligence is everything, especially when you travel 5,000 years in the future. When you walk into a room, the structure of the building reads your thoughts instantly. It scans your body instantly. It changes your thoughts instantly, all connected to your cloud. The central line system to calculation modifies you through direction of time positions and clocking, guys. Your thoughts are the most powerful thing in the world because it's all about creation. Time capacity positions of time put you always in the self of its present location. Don't put yourself in the past because you're changing vibration. If you change your thoughts in a negative cycle and you're 20,000 years into the future of its earth, what do you think will happen? Everything be misdirected, sleight of hand, miscalculated, mismodified, right? So everything would go in at back force. So it's up to you to bring everything back to its full force, okay? So nature's trying to catch up to humanity. Earth is trying to catch up through your communication. The moon is trying to catch up to your programs, and the sun is trying to get caught up with your dream positions of time location. Okay, these are the positions that we're trying to get into. 5-dimensional telepathy, right? So y'all have to know that. It's important. You all have to know the positions of time where you are through connections of presence, right? So voice it out, give it back. FYI, send it out. Everybody has to know what's going on. It's important. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you want to go to my email. For all the tech talkers out there that form, it's great to see you guys. It's good to see that you're forming through connections, but truly understanding your thoughts are everything. Okay, you'll realize that more when you travel through time, especially if you go into the future. You realize how powerful your thoughts are and what you can do with your thoughts of creation. Because then you understand how to use your intelligence through your chakras of communication, and then you can use that through calculation, modification, integration, come into the modulation to its simulation, right? And then you understand everything through computerized system of your computer activation system. So I know it's very hard to get to the past, a certain thought space for me. How can I do that? So yeah, you have to keep going through my schools or activation cycles or go through another program setting. See, that's the thing. It's hard for everybody to understand because all you do is keep focusing on what's going on outside and you don't focus on yourself. Not too many people focus on themselves anymore. They just keep worrying about what's happening on TV, media. Who cares? Does nothing to do with you. Okay? It's a game. Everything is a game. Everything is entertainment. But what isn't a game is your life. Think of it that way. If you think of it that way, understanding your game is real. Nobody's going to help you but yourself. So you have to understand the higher self of you. Right? It's trying to give you forward. It's trying to get you out of the deep centers of the earth. It's trying to get you out of the quicksand. It's trying to pull you from the dirt. It's trying to take you from the water. It's trying to take you out of shapes. It's trying to get you in position of time through space. It's trying to get you in position of light through source. It's trying to activate you through your chakra communication. It's trying to help you in all ways and form through communication, right? So meditating is great. Keep that up. Yeah. But see, you're just going through spot centers now, D-Baby. You're trying to understand your past traumas. So your past traumas are trying to understand communication. The higher self knows you inside and out. It's your soul. That's why it's so powerful. People can't identify the soul, what it is, right? So they move on and they live in the physical system. But you can no longer be in the calculation modification of the sun, the moon, and the earth. It's no longer in that position of vibration, guys. You guys are going to keep having a problem, okay? If you let everything around you control you inside, let it out. Be free. Be what you want to be. Be what you want to become. Be the adventurous. Be the journey. Be the mission. Be the job. Be the power. Be the recognition. Be the time. Positive, 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 positive. It's hard to do these things. I know that. But you have to understand how to modify yourself, how to time capacity yourself, how to put yourself in the presence of time. That will take away your past traumas. Okay? So hopefully these videos help you out. If you want to go through higher upgrades, go through my healing. That's totally up to you. See, the school is all about adaptation. Dolores Cannon tells you that. Once you join the Earth school, right, you have to understand what's going on with this Earth, because it's all connected to you, because you are the Earth. Right? You're everything through the gravity, you're everything through the atmosphere, and you're everything through your connections. You just have to understand that you have to know how to control your inner system. Right? It's not the outer system, it's the inner system of you. Not too many people know how to communicate with themselves. That's the hardest thing to do. Voice your channels out. Something wrong. Okay? So this is your higher self. You're having a bad day. Okay? This is your physical self. So the higher self comes in, right? Through your audio signals, through letters, numbers, and shapes. So what's going on through communications or out through cycle? I can't seem to form through my vibration of meditation. I'm having problems with that connection. I can help you in all ways and forms. Just get out of the meditation line graph and positions, get out of your space element connection line system, get into proactive line communications, focus on that through calculation, put yourself in the present location. Okay, I'll try to do that. Thank you. They both fly off. So they separate until they come together. Okay, so it's like a magnet. It's trying the physical, and I said that before in the video, where you got the physical and you got the spiritual, and it's trying to so trying to come together, right? It's trying to get into that atom of circle rotation of one alignment. So when you come together, you're in, you're awake, you're centered, but you got to keep yourself in center every day through presence of thoughts, right? So if the spiritual system wants to go forward, but the physical system's not sure, you're going to go like this. Right? And if it's still confused and you wake up and you're still negative cycles, right? You're going to go like this. See what's happening? So the yin and the yang doesn't understand each other. The contrast level and the separation of the position of time location, your dichotomy system, is fully separated from its thoughts, from travel location. So it's one cycle of rotation, always going forward. Okay? So when you go forward and you fully understand your alignments, then you can go forward and backwards. And that's how you're able to travel back into the past, present, and the future. But as long as you understand how to communicate the center position of you, which is its earth, of its presence, that's the hardest thing to do. And that's what Alan Watts says. There's no future. There's only the here and now. Right? But in relation, there is a future. I only know that because I've been there. I created the simulation, so I know there's a future, guys. So, but that's what I'm saying. There's no place in time until there's a place in time. And that's going way, 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 way beyond the mind system. Okay? But let's not concentrate on that. Today, we concentrate on you. That's the most important thing. What do we look at to make us look better in space and time? How do we get out of the past? Right? Silence. Silence the mind. Okay? You silence the mind, you open the mind. When you open the mind, you open the chakra. When you open the chakra, you have nothing but communication of a thought. You create that thought, positive or negative. Be cautious. Don't use negative thoughts of meditating. It changes the alignment. Then I have to go up and see what's going on. Okay? You guys be amazed what I do every day. Okay? And it's all connected to humanity because they started this from the very beginning. And that's why the earth is in disruption of time, position, of space. This is all done from humanity and its air. Okay? It's all done through the spiritual system. It's understanding how to control the light and the dark force of you. It's a spiritual warfare. Any light worker will tell you that. Any light channeler. Anybody will tell you that. It all comes down to the same answer. As long as you're comfortable with yourself, you can bring yourself forward, but allow yourself to see yourself in the presence every day. That's the hardest thing you have to understand, because there's no future, only here now. I don't want you to confuse the system, right? But I'm the only one that understands that there is a future, because I understand my birth from its beginning of space and time, because I've gone back to source of light fully and completely. So to do that position of location, you don't have to die 12 times. I'm just in that position because I'm coming back to who I am. Everybody is in a position of time. So you die and you're reborn maybe 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, but that's your position of time. That's where you're good at. Everybody's at a different DNA path through the mind of the brain location. Okay? So but that's what I recommend you do, D-Baby. Get into the psychologica of you through thoughts. Your provisions, your acting cycles, your positions through connections of cycle rotations, your positions through light signals, meditation, graph connections, so your connections to your space position of time location. So that's on my PayPal. That's below. Yeah, I put the link below. Yeah, http://PayPal.me/healing to capital letters of AC. But the link is below. Every video I do, the link is below for healing. That goes through donations too. So it all depends where you want to get into that connection of time, position, location. So, but that's the you have my email and you have my PayPal account. So the email is basically more for spiritual therapy, simulation therapy, anything through psychosis or anything psychological system. The PayPal is just basically for the payment, right? Just like anything else. So, but those are the two you have to look at. But that's what I'm using. All right. So now's the time for you guys to ask questions. Right? My videos every day will become more powerful. Confusing to the mind, but more powerful. Truly understand you're connected to your own power. It's how to get your power back. Through light, you're all connected to source, the time, position of space. Okay? So that's the importance you have to reach to that connection of time location. All right? So I think that's good. You know, we've learned a lot today. This is Saturday. I usually don't go over an hour because, I have to spend time with Familia. But I will be on TikTok and I will be on live for a bit. Sunday is, for me, again, I probably only be on for 20 minutes, half an hour. I like to, take breaks because I work so much, right? Usually, if you want to get a hold of me, basically I'll get back to you through Q&A on my TikTok platform. Or you can go through my email. You can go through my healing. If you have any questions or comments, I can help you out what's happening with your body and why you're not in position of time connection. Once you go through my healing and you don't understand that, then you have to understand you have to get into more of reprogramming. And this is understanding more connections of you. But you got to put yourself in the present location of time location every single day. That's the only way you can move forward in life. Okay? So you're extremely welcome there, Galactica. I know it's great to see you going through exceptional levels of your program setting. So we're going to come into the test review and evaluation. This is going to put my team into 110 chakra rotation center positions of time. You guys will be blown away because it's extremely high rise through light, a lot more travel, a lot more frustration, a lot of confusion, a lot of complication. But we always get out of it through its equation, right? So that helped. So on many, many, many ways and forms, that position of time location. All right. So everybody have a fantastic day. Adios.